All right, so freedom. Let's dive deep into what it really means because today we're going to exploring some seriously interesting ideas from stoic.nu.
Stolkik.
Yeah, it means messy in Swedish. It's this cool online platform where people are using AI and stuff to hash out, well,
Messy.
exactly, messy social issues. And freedom is definitely one of those things everyone wants.
What does it actually mean?
Right. Like, is it just ditching the 9 to 5, traveling the world, living it up, you know?
I mean, that's definitely a picture a lot of folks paint race.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this platform is that it pushes us to go deeper,
Oh.
like way deeper, to think about what I call internal freedom.
Ooh, internal freedom. Okay, so is that like freedom of thought or something?
Kinda, but it's more about breaking free from all those mental barriers we build for ourselves.
Like what?
Fear, self-doubt, all those limiting beliefs that keep us, well, playing small.
So you're saying like even if we're living that dream life on the outside, we could still be like chained up by our own minds.
Bingo. It's like, think about Viktor Frankl.
Yeah, Franco.
Yeah, the psychologist. He survived the Holocaust.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And he realized that even in a concentration camp, he couldn't control his circumstances, but he could control his response to them.
So powerful.
Totally. Frankl figured out that even in the worst situations, you've always got the power to choose your attitude, your mindset.
And that's freedom.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay, so if freedom is so much about our mindset, why do so many people feel trapped? Like, society's always pushing this get a job, buy a house, settle down kind of thing.
Right.
I mean, do you ever feel that pressure?
For sure. This whole cultural narrative can feel super confining.
Especially if you're
Like you want to explore things, express yourself. Yeah.
Exactly. It clashes with that natural desire to grow, to evolve, to create something meaningful, you know?
Totally. And that's where that feeling of being trapped can come in.
Makes sense. It's like you should be happy with a stable job and a routine.
But then spike this off.
Right. And then there's the fear, right?
Oh, yeah, the fear.
Like, what if you quit your job to chase your dreams and
it doesn't work out.
Exactly. It can feel safer to stick with what's familiar, even if it's not fulfilling.
Totally understandable. We're wired to seek security, right?
Right.
But clinging to that familiar stuff can actually prevent us from experiencing real freedom.
And that's something this platform, stoic.nu, really highlights.
Yeah, that tension between comfort and wanting something more.
Plus, we're constantly bombarded with these images of what success is supposed to look like. It's easy to compare yourself and feel like you're not good enough.
Absolutely.
Does that feed into that trapped feeling too, you think?
Big time. That constant comparing can totally stifle your own unique vision of what freedom means to you.
Okay, so how do we break free from all that? How do we actually start living more freely?
It all starts with realizing that you have the power to choose.
Okay.
Like, you don't have to be bound by expectations, whether they're from society, your family, or even your own past. Freedom is about giving yourself permission to be authentically you.
I love that. So it's not about fitting into some mold. It's about
discovering what lights you up.
Yes. But what about stability? Doesn't pursuing freedom mean chucking responsibility out the window?
That's what a lot of people think. But stoic.nu actually challenges that idea.
Oh.
It's not about rejecting stability, but redefining it.
Okay, so how does that work?
Imagine stability as a foundation.
Okay.
A secure base that lets you take risks, explore your passions, and grow without constantly worrying about surviving.
Like a launch pad.
Exactly. The platform shows stories of people who've built this financial safety net.
Oh, wow.
So they can pursue creative passions and stuff.
That's awesome. So it's not an either thing.
No way. You can have both.
You can have freedom and stability.
Absolutely. And there's tons of research to back that up.
Really?
Yeah. Studies show more money doesn't necessarily equal more happiness.
So chasing a bigger paycheck might not actually make you feel freer.
Not necessarily. True freedom and well-being come from things like autonomy, meaningful connections, having a sense of purpose.
So it's about aligning your actions with what matters to you.
Yes. Creating a life that feels authentic and fulfilling.
I love that. So if freedom looks different for everyone,
Which it totally does.
what are some examples of what it might actually look like in real life?
Well, think about an entrepreneur ditching the corporate world to start their own business.
Driven by passion?
Exactly. That's one way freedom can look.
Or an artist pouring their heart and soul into their work, expressing themselves authentically, not caring about what other people think?
Totally. That's freedom too.
And what about a traveler embracing a nomadic lifestyle?
Oh, yeah. Exploring the world on their own terms, that's a classic.
Or even a minimalist, finding joy in simplicity, getting rid of all the material stuff to focus on what really matters.
Exactly. Freedom comes in so many forms.
So it's about finding what resonates with you, not forcing yourself into someone else's version of freedom.
100%. It's about aligning your life with your values, whatever those may be.
Man, this is making me think about how I define freedom in my own life.
It's deep stuff.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in what you should be doing and lose sight of what actually brings you joy.
For sure.
So for our listener out there, how do you think they can start unlocking their own version of freedom? Where should they even begin?
Well, Stokke.eu offers a framework that might help.
Yeah.
First, figure out what's holding you back.
Like what?
Are there actual external circumstances? Or are they, self-imposed limitations?
So it's like taking stock of those mental chains we were talking about.
Exactly. Okay, what's next?
Redefine success. Like, what does freedom really mean to you?
Not what society says it should mean.
No way. Is it about time, flexibility, money, creative expression, something else completely?
Got it. Figure out what truly matters.
Yeah.
What else?
Don't try to change everything at once.
Oh, yeah, that's good advice. Take small steps. Carve out time for your passions, even if it's just a few minutes a day.
Makes sense.
And nurture your curiosity. Explore new ideas, try new things. Don't be afraid to fail.
Like dipping your toes in the water before jumping in.
Exactly.
Okay, anything else?
Remember, resilience is super important.
Resilient.
Freedom often comes with uncertainty and challenges.
Right.
So you got to develop that mental and emotional strength to navigate those ups and downs without giving up.
So building that inner strength to weather the storms.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Okay, so we've talked a lot about the internal stuff, the mindset.
The heart of it all.
Right. But what about what the experts say? Like, does philosophy or psychology have anything to add?
Oh, for sure. Let's dive into that next. All right. Welcome back to our Freedom Deep Dive. It's pretty fascinating stuff, right?
Totally.
We've been exploring how so much of freedom is internal, like a mindset.
A choice.
Exactly. But what happens when the outside world throws you a curveball?
Oh, yeah. Good point.
You know, those limitations that feel totally out of your control?
Like, we can't always control what happens to us, right?
Nope.
So even if you've worked on your mindset,
Mm-hmm.
Cultivated that inner freedom,
Right.
can it ever be truly taken away?
That's a tough one. And it's something that Stokke.eu grapples with, too. External stuff can definitely impact our lives, sometimes in huge ways.
For sure.
I mean, there are situations where your external freedom is totally restricted.
No question.
So even if you have that strong sense of inner freedom,
Like, you feel free in your mind?
yeah, real-world limitations can still affect you.
Absolutely. Like someone in prison.
Exactly. Their physical freedom is definitely restricted.
They still have.
They still have the freedom to choose their attitude, their mindset, how they respond to being locked up.
Right. Like Viktor Frankl.
Yeah, exactly.
It's incredible how he could find that freedom even in such a horrible place.
It really shows the resilience of the human spirit.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it makes you wonder, how do you hold on to that when everything around you feels so limiting?
Well, it's an idea that philosophers and spiritual teachers have talked about for centuries.
Wow.
This concept that true freedom is something deeper, something inside us that can't be touched by outside forces.
So even if someone takes away your ability to travel or speak your mind,
Right.
they can't actually touch that core sense of inner freedom.
It's almost like a superpower, right?
It really is. It shows how strong and adaptable humans can be.
Absolutely. Even when things are tough, we can choose hope. We can choose meaning.
We can choose to hold on to our inner freedom.
Exactly.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
It means that no matter what, we still have a choice in how we respond.
Always a choice.
We can let things define us,
Right.
or we can choose to hold on to our freedom.
Right.
But how do you actually live that way? How do you get that strong when things are rough?
Well, it's definitely a journey.
Yeah.
And Stokke.eu has some practical advice. Remember that framework we talked about?
Yeah.
Identifying the constraints in your life, redefining success, taking small steps, embracing curiosity.
Right. So it's not just about thinking about freedom.
No way.
It's about doing something.
You got it. It's about making choices that match your values, even when it's tough.
And working on your inner freedom.
Through self-reflection, yeah, and a commitment to personal growth.
An inner freedom is a practice.
It totally is. It's not like you just arrive at freedom and you're done.
It's ongoing.
It's something you work on and strengthen over time.
Like a muscle.
Exactly. The more you use it, the stronger it gets.
I like that.
Oh.
So for our listener, what are some things they can do to start flexing those freedom muscles?
One really powerful practice is mindfulness.
Mindfulness.
Yeah, taking the time to become aware of your thoughts, your feelings, how you react to stuff.
So you know what's going on inside.
Exactly. It's the foundation for making conscious choices.
It's like hitting pause before you react automatically.
Yes, you create space between what happens and how you respond.
I see.
So you can choose a response that fits with your values, your vision of freedom.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Especially when things are difficult.
For sure, instead of just reacting emotionally, you can step back and choose a more empowering response.
What else helps build that inner strength?
Self-reflection is key.
Self-reflection.
Yeah, take some time to really think about your beliefs, your values, what success means to you.
Gone?
Are you living in a way that feels true to yourself? Or are you trying to fit into someone else's idea of what you should be?
Big questions.
They are, but they're important. And thinking about those leads us to another piece, personal growth.
Right. Because freedom isn't about staying the same.
Nope. It's about growth, expansion, evolution.
It's about seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
Exactly.
So stepping outside your comfort zone, even when it's scary, helps you become more free.
Precisely. Every time you face a fear, overcome an obstacle, learn something new, you're expanding your capacity for freedom.
I love that.
Yeah.
Freedom is an adventure, not a destination.
Well said. And this connects back to resilience,
Right.
the ability to bounce back from setbacks, learn from mistakes, keep moving forward.
So setbacks are actually opportunities.
They can be. It's all about how you look at them.
Instead of letting them defeat you.
You can use them to grow and become even more free.
This is all so inspiring. We're really starting to understand how powerful inner freedom can be.
I know, right?
But before we go any further, let's recap what we've learned in this part of our deep dive.
Good idea. Let's remind our listener what we've uncovered so far.
All right, so we're back. And we've been talking all about this incredible journey of self-discovery and freedom.
Inner strength, facing fears, all that good stuff.
Yeah. But I'm kind of curious about community.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can you really be free if you're not connected to something bigger than yourself?
That's a great question. And it's interesting because StokeGU.news kind of touches on that. You know, they really emphasize personal freedom, figuring yourself out.
Right.
But they also acknowledge that we're all interconnected.
So it's not about isolating yourself in the name of freedom.
Nope. True freedom isn't about rejecting society or going it alone.
It's more about finding your place and using your talents.
Exactly. And supporting others as they find their own freedom, too.
I love that. So freedom is not just about you. It's about contributing to something bigger.
You got it. Plus, all the research shows that being connected to people is so important for your well-being.
Right. We need that connection.
We're wired for it. Belonging, community, it's in our DNA.
So it's not selfish to focus on your own freedom.
Not at all.
It actually helps you show up better in the world.
Absolutely. When you embrace your own freedom, when you find that inner peace, it kind of overflows.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
You become more compassionate, more understanding, more engaged with everything around you.
It's like when you're secure in yourself.
Yeah.
You can share that with others.
Exactly. And this idea that freedom is tied to responsibility and community,
Right.
it's been around forever. It's a theme in so many wise traditions. Well, there's this concept called Ubuntu.
Ubuntu.
It's a Nguni Bantu term that means humanity towards others.
Okay.
And it basically means, I am because we are.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
So true freedom isn't just about liberating yourself
It's about understanding that we're all connected.
and making the world a better place.
Exactly. Your actions have an impact. They ripple outward.
So when you embrace your own freedom,
Yeah,
you can inspire others to do the same.
absolutely. It reminds me of this Maya Angelou quote. She said, I am grateful to have been loved and to be loved now and to be able to love because that liberates. Love liberates. It doesn't just hold. That's ego. Love liberates.
Love as a form of freedom.
For yourself and for others.
So powerful. So when you choose love, compassion, connection,
Right.
you're choosing freedom for everyone.
You got it.
This whole conversation has been so eye-opening. I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of what it means to be truly free.
Yeah, it's a deep topic.
But before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with one final thought. We've talked about how important it is to define freedom for yourself.
Right. Figure out what matters to you.
Exactly. But what if, besides figuring out what freedom is, you also thought about what it's not?
Interesting.
Like, what are the things that are holding you back from experiencing real freedom?
That's a great question. It makes you look at the obstacles in your way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as you keep exploring this idea of freedom,
Yeah.
ask yourself, what is freedom not? What fears, beliefs, or pressures are keeping you from living fully and authentically?
And then how can you break free from those things?
It's a powerful challenge. It's about letting go of what's holding you back as much as it's about embracing what you want.
Well said.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into freedom. Thanks for joining us on this exploration.
It's been fun.
Remember, freedom is a journey. It's a choice you make every single day.
Choosing it.
And by cultivating your own freedom, you're actually helping create a freer world for everyone.
Absolutely. As you're on your journey, remember the words of Nelson Mandela. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others.
Keep seeking, keep growing, and keep embracing freedom. We'll see you next time.